At home, I was very good. I was well behaved in the
Mm-hmm.
house. In the house, I was well behaved. You could see me cleaning, assisting with washing the clothes,
Okay.
cleaning the room, making the bed, making sure my clothes for school the next day is ironed so that I can wear those ironed clothes and go to school and act a straight fool. If anyone can go back to Bird Neck Elementary School in the Virginia Beach, they will see that Darren Harris had the most referrals in the elementary school history. And I said to him, I said, Dad, my life is crazy. It's like I don't have that. Like everything's like going. And I'm like talking to him, and he just said, "What took you so long to call?"
Oh.
And I said, "Subhanallah." So
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first episode of Raising Humans, where we have our first guest. So you no longer have to just listen to me talk to the camera, but this time, hopefully, we have a brother, Abdulmuhsin, coming to join us today to have a discussion about parenting and just his life in general. So, inshallah, today will be a much more diverse conversation where we can go back and forth, and you won't have to hear my voice for the whole episode. So, assalamu alaikum, Abdulmuhsin. Thank you very
Walaikum
much for coming.
salam, rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thanks for having me on.
No problem at all. No problem at all. So I reached out to Abdulmuhsin earlier this week, and he's been so gracious as to firstly accept my offer, and not only that, but there's been so many questions that I've asked you because this is my first podcast as well, and I just wanted to say firstly thank you for coming on the show, but also answering all my questions. You can tell that I'm already quite nervous, but you've made me feel a bit more at ease. So first, I just want to say, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala increase you in everything you do, and put barakah in everything that you do as well. And I really appreciate the opportunity of you coming here today as well.
Jazakallah khairan. I'm excited, I think obviously I accepted this because what you're doing, it's absolutely amazing. The fact that look at the title itself, Raising Humans. Myself being a parent, I'm excited to be here and to talk about these kind of things because I think there's a lot of people out there who can benefit from this discussion that I think we're gonna have today. So I'm extremely excited to take it dive in.
Yeah, so just give you a little bit of background then. Why I initially wanted to start this was that when I first became a father, I felt like there wasn't that many places for me to go in terms of this new generation I'm in. I'm raising a boy, and I was just lost, and I felt like I was just trying things out for the first time, and I was experimenting a lot on how to treat him, how to be with him, how to be a father properly. And a lot of my friends were in the same boat as me, so we were just learning as we went along. And what I really hoped was that there were people in my life or people within the same generation as me where I could go to them for help and say, okay, look, this is what Issa's doing at this age. What do you recommend me doing at this time? Or I'm finding it very difficult. Like, I'll give an example. When Issa was first born, I found it very, very difficult. When he would cry, it would be like for me when you rub, like when you grate a fork on a talk.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't help it. And I was literally going crazy in my mind when that happened. And like for my wife, it was completely different. I think for mothers, generally, they move into that role very, very naturally. And for me personally, as a father, I felt that at some points I felt like, can I do this? Can I be the father that I need him to be? And I just found it a challenge. And over time, alhamdulillah, it's become a lot easier. And I'll give an example where yesterday we were driving to Al Ain and the little one was crying and it didn't faze me at all anymore. But I remember when I initially became a father, I just found that very, very difficult. How was your experience of parenting, especially early on?
Yeah, so I think you made a lot of good points what you were saying in regards to in the beginning when because my son's name is Isa as well. And I think he's 8 and yours is
7.
yeah,
7.
so like they're the same exact age and the same name. So for myself, like I remember the beginning as well, like it's something which is new and you have so much love and compassion to this this child that Allah has gifted you with, and because of that you ultimately try your best to strive, and you want to, like, sometimes when you don't know an answer you turn to Google and you search it up and things like that. And obviously children are a test as well. So that what we were not used to in the beginning, now like you said, going to Al Ain and the little one start crying, it doesn't phase it, same exact thing. So me in the beginning personally, I found it quite difficult because um like one, I'm a revert Muslim,
Mhm.
so the way how I was raised and versus the way how being married to someone who is brought up with Islam is totally different.
Mhm.
We may think certain things like, okay, like this, that person may think certain things like
Mhm.
this is how it's supposed to be done, but nevertheless, there's benefits in both. You understand?
Mhm.
There's benefits in both. So alhamdulillah, over time you learn,
Mhm.
and it gets a lot better for those people who maybe are getting ready to have a new child,
Mhm.
first time fathers and things like that. There's not really, you shouldn't be scared, but you should, the same way with every journey that you take. You put your trust in Allah and you go forward with everything that comes.
Of course, of course. So you said that when you were younger, your childhood was a lot different. How would you explain? How was your childhood?
So my childhood, as I can remember, we had a lot of freedom,
Okay.
meaning I'm so cautious to let, and even Dubai is very safe. I'm so cautious to let my kids just go running out and go outside and just go play, come back later, you
Even
know?
even here?
Yeah,
Mhm.
not no. It's just a natural thing
Of
as a
course.
parent.
Yeah.
You're not gonna just go let your kids just go class
You need to
go.
make sure you can see them at least.
Yeah, at
Yeah.
least make sure you can see
Yeah.
them. But for us, I could remember, like, I still remember going to the park. There's actually a video, funny enough, of my brother and I. We were in America, and we went outside, and the
Mhm.
whole family were there in Virginia Beach. They were there, and my brother and I, we were outside.
Okay.
We managed to, I believe, we played in mud or something like that. Then we came home and we were covered in mud, and they were like, we were trying to say stop, but I kept saying top, top, top. And they recorded it, and they still have this video. Absolutely hilarious. So from that, just remembered I couldn't imagine, you know, my kids just going outside
Mm.
playing. And we were very young.
Mhm.
And then so things like that. It's just a bit different, like, things like that. Yeah.
So then how would that change now? So now you've got your own kids. How many children do you have, by the way?
I actually have four.
Allahumma barik. Amazing.
Alhamdulillah. Yeah.
Boys, girls, ages?
Two boys and two
Oh
girls.
wow, you've got the perfect combination.
Yes, yes, yes. So the boy, he's Isa is 8,
Okay.
Asia 6, Ali is 4, and the youngest one, Asma, she is like 1.5. She'll be
Wow.
2 next year.
Okay. So I've got 3 kids. So Isa,
hmm
7, going to be 8 in a few months, inshallah. Adam is 4, and the youngest one is Iman, and she's a 1.5 as well.
hmm
1.5
What
as
is
well.
it like? How was it when you had the girl? Because the girls are different than the
So
boys.
girls were completely different. So give you a bit of context.
Yeah.
We have, I think, 9 boys in our family. So me and my siblings, we've only just had boys.
Yeah.
We've got no girls in the family. Before Iman came along, we've just had boys, and we were adamant. So what we wanted to do for this one was not find out whether the baby was a boy or a girl. We wanted a surprise. And then on the day Iman was born, literally my wife was screaming in the operation theater, and the doctors thought that there was something wrong.
Huh.
Is everything okay? Are you feeling pain or anything? But it was just the fact that when she found out she finally got a girl, she screamed so much.
Yeah. How did you feel though?
I was scared. I'll be honest. Now I've got 2 boys. I know how to raise boys. I know
Yeah.
what I need to do and how I need to be with them in terms of temperament, behavior. With girls, I feel like it's going to be a different set of challenges.
I'll let you know, brother. Girls is not easy. And to be fair, like I think boys are easy. Boys are
Yeah.
so easy. Like literally, they're so easy. But girls, not easy, bro.
No.
No,
So
no,
she's
no,
only
no.
1.5. So I'm not really sure what
Is
to
she
expect yet.
active?
She's active. She's
Exactly.
walking around.
No, active, like busy,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
busy
yeah,
into
yeah.
everything.
Yeah. So alhamdulillah, because I've got 2 older boys. Isa, the oldest one, usually when we're sitting somewhere, and she all she wants to do is walk, and Isa's always following her around like a security guard and making sure. So he's doing a lot of the work for us right now.
You'll be surprised, man. Like the same. He's the same with the youngest one as well. They actually, even the Asia, she's
Mhm.
the same with the youngest one. Like it's almost like they naturally like protect and watch
course,
them and
yeah.
things like that. So alhamdulillah, this is it's a huge ni'mah. This is a huge ni'mah.
Yeah.
And if some of you guys out there are married and you don't have children, I highly advise you to have children. Guys, get busy and have some kids.
So in terms of upbringing, then how would you differentiate your parenting when it comes to boys and when it comes to girls? How would you differentiate your parenting?
Um, to be fair, I'm actually like a really relaxed and laid back parenting style.
Mm.
I'm not like too strict, because I think that when I was raised very like strict, I
Mhm.
think. Yeah. So for myself, I have a different approach. Like I'm like really laid back. Not that I say yes to
Mhm.
everything,
Of course, yeah.
but I have a totally different approach to that kind of like style of
Mhm.
parenting. I'm really laid back. Now for the boys, um it's different because you raise them in a way where, as if like I want to give them everything that
Mhm.
I didn't have, and anywhere where I messed up or anything like that, I want them to be better in that
Of course.
sense, you know. um and then with the girls, it's more about like, you understand, because obviously you have a wife,
Mhm.
you know, so you understand how it is. You deal with your mother, your sister, and your wife, and then
Mm.
you have to realize and say, okay, this is my daughter. So you know, you have some kind of awareness, same like where
Mm.
it says like, like the hadiths where it's like, would you want that for your mother, your sister? You have to like think about it from
Mhm.
that aspect,
Mhm.
you know. And with the women, the daughters, you have to realize that they are created from the rib,
Mhm.
so they're very gentle. They can be
Broken easily.
easily affected,
Mm.
and sometimes you may say something just like random, like you don't even think, you just say it, and then the daughter will be like, the girl will be like for example, I see it be like, but daddy, what, like like you, like she say something, like she responds, and I'm
Mhm.
like, and like I'm thinking in my head like, wait, oh snap, she's there, she could hear me, like, you know, she registered
Mhm.
that affected her. And what I'm saying, like, just for example, I may
Mhm.
say something, the boys, they're not even concerned what I said, but she understood and she comprehended it totally different, you know.
Mhm.
So that's something as well.
Wow. Wow. Yeah. So so the question you were asking about when Iman was born, it brought a set of different challenges. So I was thinking about how I'm going to differentiate. So I think your parenting style is different than mine.
Mm-hmm.
What I try to do is I try to learn as much as I can and do as much research and speak to other people and their experiences, and then try to, like you said, I think the most important part for me is the mistakes that I made when I was growing up. I want them to try and avoid those mistakes as well.
Mm-hmm.
And that's probably the biggest thing for them.
Yes.
And I make this a point as well, is this is why I really love reading, because when I read books, and I want my kids to make sure that they read books as well, is especially biographies, autobiographies, is you're literally reading a book about someone's life, entire life, about the experiences and mistakes they've made, and you're downloading that into your own memory, and any mistakes they've made, there's a chance for you now to overcome that mistake. And this was the purpose of this podcast as well, where I can meet brothers like yourself, other brothers, and learn from their parenting styles. And
Mm-hmm.
one day when the kids are old enough to be parents themselves, if I'm not able to give them that discussion face to face, that they can always come back to this channel, look at these episodes, and listen to the things that we're talking about,
Mm,
and try to learn from them.
definitely.
So you were talking about your childhood was very strict when you were younger.
Oh yeah.
Could you elaborate a bit more on that?
Listen, guys, the 90s is not like the 2020s. I'll tell you that now. Kids, kids, it's not the same. The 90s were totally different. And I know in American, you know, in America, like the grandparents, if you were bad, they'll be like, hey, boy, go get that switch, you know, the switch from the tree. And you get the switch. Anyways, that's like, you know, that's like whatever. So,
Mhm.
but my childhood, what I remember is that, and I spoke about this previously on other
Mhm.
podcasts. At home, I was very good. I was well behaved in the
Mhm.
house. In the house, I was well behaved. You could see me cleaning, assisting with washing the clothes,
Okay.
cleaning the room, making the bed, making sure my clothes for school the next day is ironed so that I can wear those ironed clothes and go to school and act a straight fool. When I tell you act a fool, bro, I was going to school. I was a menace. If anyone can go back to Burdeneck Elementary School in the Virginia Beach, they will see that Darren Harris had the most referrals in the elementary school history. You understand? Every day I was in the principal's office. You would think that they were giving out sweets in the principal's office, how many times that I was there. So there's so many stories I have of my behavior in school. And this will transition us naturally into the reason why I think my kids are homeschooled, right? Now, I had a very difficult time in school. They put me on medication.
Okay.
Oh, you have ADHD, you have dyslexia, you have a learning disability, on and on and on and on and on. Big pharmacy in America attacking children. This is what I've suffered, yes?
Yeah.
So with that being said, I would act out in school all the time. So by way of me acting out in school all the time, when I came home, there were repercussions. When I say, and this is what actually led me to understanding that I had a Lord, because you have this natural feeling inside that you're being misbehaving and you're going to be disciplined. So for me, who can help me besides Allah? And I know this as a child. I'm on the school bus. Imagine being on the yellow school bus with your head on the window, looking out the window, going home and calculating the time till you enter the door to know that maybe possibly discipline is waiting. You understand? Discipline is waiting. And you would think that, okay, you're being disciplined, you would stop. It was almost as if the discipline was like a dopamine to continue me in my aggressive behavior to get the attention of the other students who would laugh at me or whatever when I acted out. You understand? Let me tell you one story about when I was in elementary school, what I did in the 2nd grade. So we all used to have spelling tests. Anyone remember the spelling test when you had 10 words and you got to spell them? Yeah, and you're going to either get them right or wrong and get that sticker. For me, I wasn't concerned about the sticker. I was just concerned about putting any crazy things on the piece of paper. So in the 2nd grade, I was sitting there in Miss Gray's class, I believe, in Virginia Beach, and the tests get passed out. I'm sitting there and I get my test. Now, I was a fly kid, guys. As you can see, today I'm wearing the Washington shirt. But when I was there, my parents dressed me in Tommy Hilfiger. I'm talking Tommy Hilfiger. Jordans on the feet, swagged out. I'm there. What do? I write my name on the paper, Tommy Hilfiger. Not Darren Harris. What's your name? I'm reading it off. Tommy. Tommy Hilfiger, right? I put Tommy Hilfiger on the paper. Take the test. Bro, I must have got like a 3 out of 10 or something on the test, right? So that week we had a parent-teacher meeting. So my parents and all the other parents are there. And they said there was one test that we don't know whose it is, who didn't get their test. I didn't. Do you know that you put Tommy Hilfiger as your name on it? My parents smacked me upside the head in front of the whole class, man. You understand? So this was the kind of kid that I was. And my parents obviously disciplined me. As you know, in America, we have different culture than maybe in the UK or like in India, Pakistan, the Arab Peninsula. We have a different culture. So we got disciplined, And if anybody know, it used to be a belt. But nowadays, you get the belt, you can go to social services and they take your kids from you. But nah, man, I got the belt. And then one thing, and this may be crazy, many people may think this is wild. But alhamdulillah, I'm grateful for the belt. The belt made me straight. It made me disciplined. Made me realize some things. But do I give my kids the belt? Absolutely not. Class. I don't give my kids don't need the belt. No. But for me, I think maybe looking back, the belt, you used to clap it as well. Brother, when you have the I got a belt. No, I don't have a belt on today. But look, you go ahead, you clap like a pow, pow, pow.
It's coming.
Yeah. So, yeah, man. But alhamdulillah, for me, my kids know that they do not receive the belt at all. We talk to them. We give them, Adam mentioned, would you want this to happen like this? We try to sit them down like that. But yeah, kalas, no problem.
That when you talked about the belt as well, especially when you're talking about that's what you needed as a child at the time, and it brings me back to my own context where the area we lived in was a very rough neighborhood. There was a lot of drugs going on in the area and not so pleasant things happening. And only after becoming a father myself, I realized that if my dad was very, very strict, growing up, very strict, had curfews, and if I was misbehaving, then we'd get beats. And when I was younger, I didn't really understand the reason why can't I just be talked to at the time. But I now realize that that's what was needed at the
Yeah,
time.
definitely.
And if it wasn't, I know a lot of my friends in the circle that I was in now, they're either addicted to drugs, in prison right now, and those were, or they're dead.
Yeah.
But most of them are the first two. And if that wasn't the case, and we had this reflection with friends in Dubai more recently, because we're all from Leicester, and we realized that if that didn't happen, we would be in a different place right now.
100%.
But now, like you said, parenting has changed a lot.
Yes.
And like you said, you don't hit your kids. What kind of what have you done differently then?
Bro, nowadays, man, all you got to do is take that device. You take this, hey, you take a device, the iPad, you take a TV or something like, man, you see how fast and it's crazy. It's almost as if like we think, does the TV actually need to be there? Because if you take the TV from them for the whole day, it's like they behave so well. They behave so well without the TV there. So from that aspect, nowadays all you have to do is take a device from them and tell them that you ain't going outside, you're not getting the iPad, you're not getting ice cream, you're not the reward. The reward.
Of course. Yeah.
If you take the reward from them, that is almost subhanAllah sufficient. You don't have to punish. You don't have to actually punish. I think that's the major difference between the 90s and the 2000s. Now you take away, because we live in such an instant gratification time that children are always want instant gratification. For example, and I see this with one of my children. I won't say their name because I don't want to expose you, bro. I don't want to expose you, bro. But listen, this one, he wants instant gratification. When I say instant gratification, he wants instant gratification. He wants it. When he wants it, I want this, I want that. I want to go to the skate park. I want to, and to be fair, he's probably a lot like myself. But with that being said, if you take the reward from him, it's sufficient to keep him on the straight path, to keep him good. You no need for punishment. That's the difference between the 90s and the 2000s. You don't have to punish nowadays.
I think as parents, we just want specific outcomes. And as long as those outcomes are achieved, then it doesn't matter how you reach it. And if you don't really need to hit someone, but you can do it in a more peaceful way, then I think that's better.
Peace over punishment, 2025.
Yeah, absolutely. You said something very interesting, because I've been having this discussion for a few months now about homeschooling. And I want to touch upon that. So why did you decide to move forward with homeschooling with your children?
So look, homeschooling, the decision from homeschooling, and it's a couple umbrella of a couple of things.
Okay.
Here in Dubai, everyone knows that school is not cheap. Kala, school is not cheap here in Dubai. We all know this, right? They pay you guys well. Okay. So that's one thing. Then secondly, the transition, not having full knowledge of the school system here. That's one thing. So making a rash decision and quick decision from the beginning, you're paying a lot of money. Then secondly, you don't know the system. You don't know everything. Yes, it can be credible, this, that, whatever. But it's something which is new. Thirdly, it's as if though what I went through. You understand my experience with school, with the medication and the resource and special ed classes and all these other things, and somewhat slightly bullying and the fear of going to all the things for me. It was tough, and then also it's from the aspect of having young children. How many times do we see that young girls or young boys, we let them go out of the house and they're there for many hours with a total, the teacher becomes not a stranger anymore, but they're outside of the house with someone else not in your care. They build a stronger relationship with the nanny, the maid, the teacher than their own mother or father. The father is so busy with work, he doesn't know the last time he spoke to the child, for example, right? Yeah. So at least why send them outside when you can have them at the young age, when there is the errata or their decision or they're still the adolescence and all this stuff is not even there yet. So why send them out when they're young, and then when they come, then you want to try to build a relationship with them at 13, 14, 15, you want to get close with the kalas kalut, they're gone. They're gone. They're friends with whoever, and they this is who they look up to. And the devices is enough of a distraction for the kids. So for us at a young age, we want to cultivate them about what is their belief system.
Right. Okay.
Their closer relationship with their parents. This is what we do in Islam. This is how we do. This is how we pray. This is this. This is that. Why you cover? Why the baby girl she gonna cover? And this one, and on and on and on. These things are very important. And then there's small subjects. I can teach kindergarten, first grade, second grade, third grade, fourth grade class. I don't need to get Miss Spellingham to do it.
Yeah.
I don't need Miss Spellingham for fourth grade teaching. Class, we can do it ourselves.
Yeah.
But when you get to those higher grades in this calculus and things like that, yeah, you can go outside and get the calculus if you need it. But for now, they don't need to go nowhere. They're babies.
Yeah, no, that's right. As a teacher myself, I can say unequivocally that as a father, as a mother, you will give a better education to your child more than the teacher at school. Not that they're bad teachers.
No
But
doubt.
you will always love your own child and make sure you want what's best for them more than anyone else.
Yes.
There'll be days where a teacher's on fire and she's doing an amazing job, but there'll be other days where she's tired or there's other things going on and she can't give the attention. And remember, even in that classroom, there's maybe 20 children there. You can't give that individual attention to every single child.
Yes.
So there'll be some schools out there that do an amazing job, but no one will do more of an amazing job than
the parent
in the home. And you can tailor your curriculum based on what you want them to learn. So you talked about Islam and the fundamental principles of that. But I think there's also another aspect that we don't touch upon is also the circle that they're with as well. So my younger kids, they all go to school and they go to the same school where my wife teaches. And there'll be some times where they'll come back from school and they'll mention certain things that they've heard their friends talk about. And then we need to sit them down and talk to them about that. And you realize that the circle that they're around is going to have a very heavy impact on the type of people that they become. Because initially at home, you can try to teach them as much as they can. But once they get into the school environment, then obviously different habits start taking place, or they'll be looking up to different people, or maybe the wrong type of children as well. So this is a very good safeguard in that regards, where they're just around you.
Yeah, but then you also have to, I don't want the people to come for us in the comment section, or for me specifically. A social life is very important. You know, being involved in activities, and this is something that I think, like, I'm not afraid to say that we can all do better. I believe that they can be in kickboxing, and we've put them in swimming. You know, they have basketball or soccer, football, as you guys say. I don't want to go there. This is American football jersey. Big shout out to the Commanders, yeah. But like, some kind of activity is definitely needed so they socialize. Now, the socialization and a physical activity of kickboxing, football, or something like this is not something which is this is okay. It's fine. It's a physical activity. It's not such that they need to be gone the whole day for that specific thing. So that's what I would say about that.
Yeah, I think sports is very important. I think that it builds confidence, resilience. I think for my two boys, I need them to be able to learn that it's okay to lose. They're very bad losers right now, and it's okay to lose, and also working in a team, communication, etc. as well. I think that's important. But within Dubai as well, there's a good homeschooling community where they'll meet maybe 1 or 2 times in the week.
Yes.
To come together, and there'll be activities that they'll do
in Town Square. I think I think there's a community. Mostly, look, me, I'm not the head honcho of the homeschooling. Obviously, my wife is in charge of that part, but like the schooling thing. But I'm sure I've heard her talk to me about there's groups, and sometimes she goes out, she meets these sisters and these women, and the kids go with these other kids and stuff. So alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah, I'm grateful. You know, and I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to continue to bless you and your children and mine, and our families, and continue to let our kids be righteous and beneficial to the ummah. Ameen.
So I think for our kids, it's not an option right now. We'd love to homeschool at some point. And I'll just give you a story about the potential of homeschooling before I move on to schooling itself. But in the UK, before moving here, I had a tuition business where we were doing tutoring for English. And at one point it went really well, but we started getting a lot of students, and they were the same age as students in year 7 or 8.
Yes.
And then year 11 is when you actually set your GCSEs. I'm not sure how much you know about the UK curriculum.
I understand a little bit, but ours is different.
Yeah, so the American curriculum's a little bit different. So in year 11, they'll set GCSEs, and those are official examinations. So usually you're about 15, 16 when you sit those. In year 7, when you're about 10, 11, we had students that were homeschooled at that age sitting GCSEs. This is how far they were ahead in terms of their ability to grasp information. And I sat down and spoke to the mother, and she was just saying that because this is my curriculum, I can choose what I want them to learn. So we're focusing English, math, science. I've understood that my son has an aptitude for English, so we're focusing more on that, making sure that he's reading. And I feel like he's ready to do GCSEs. He did a course with us for a couple of weeks, and he passed, and he got one of the highest grades. And he was in year 7. He's like 4 or 5 years ahead of the rest of the
Yeah.
lot. So the potential is always there as well. But I think there's obviously pros and cons, and we can have that discussion later. So for us, our kids go to an Islamic school in Dubai. My wife works there as well, so she can keep an eye on them. But the ethos is very, very embedded within the religion. So everything they
Alhamdulillah.
do, it's amazing. They have amazing teachers as well when it comes to Quran, Arabic. They're learning a lot of Arabic. I'm seeing that there's a big difference.
Mhm.
One of the biggest reasons why we moved to Dubai was just the environment that we were in. So, firstly, living in an Islamic country has its benefits, but also being in an environment where a lot of the parents that I come into contact with, they have that similar mindset. Why they moved into Dubai?
Yes.
And so I'll give an example where we were driving home once. So I worked in the same school last year, and they're just reciting Quran, they're reciting Surah together, the kids at the back. And I thought maybe in the UK that would never happen. Because as a teacher, I know that the curriculum is set. I need to make sure my kids learn certain things. Even if I don't agree with them as a Muslim, there'll be things that they don't align with my values. I still go ahead and have to teach these kids these things.
Yes.
And it was a lot more difficult for me. And I knew that when Issa's growing up, he's going to go through this system. And at such a young age, he's going to have to learn things that are against our religion, where he's not going to understand that. And that was one of the main reasons why.
That's very dangerous. It's scary. Like, alhamdulillah, it was the opposite for me. As you know, as being a revert, I didn't know anything about Islam. They're not going to teach us Islam in the Western school, public school. Not to say the Islamic school, like, because I know in the UK they have quite a few of them. Yeah, but if you go to public school, you're not going to get this thing. No one's going to remind you to pray during the day and things like that. As a revert, I only learned about anything to do with Islam in university, second or third year of university. So imagine that was the first time. So imagine if it's the opposite. And I learned about it, and what I grasped it, and I took it, and alhamdulillah, I became Muslim,
Yeah.
Now imagine the opposite, that from a very young age, they're being fed these different ideologies and different belief systems. And as a young child, they don't know. So they have to, these children nowadays, they have it harder than us. We must give them a round of applause. These kids, they're facing the internet. They're facing things like TikTok and YouTube Shorts and everything. They're facing the actual internet, bro. The kids are facing the internet, not just only the internet, but different agendas that are posed at them and things like that. And as times go further, it's going to be harder for them. So something like this, and protecting the kids and letting them understand what our belief is and things like that, very vital. It's very vital for the future of the ummah, because like as they said, if you want to destroy a nation, go for the woman and then the children.
That's it.
Yeah.
One of the things I've been thinking about recently was that the challenges that our parents had when we were younger, they face different challenges. Today, we face different challenges as parents as well. So you just mentioned technology. That's what made me remember that question.
Yes.
Have you thought a bit about how, when you grow up, it's going to be different to your children in terms of the things that we need to shield them from and protect them from? It's going to be different than what our parents had to, especially living in Dubai, because there's going to be a whole different set of challenges. Because when I speak to people back home, they do have specific challenges, whereas here, the challenges are still there, but they just come in different clothing.
Yes, they come in different clothing, no doubt. And some of the challenges that I would say in Dubai is like for raising kids, is that here it's so secure, so safe, and things like this. And I think I heard one time, this is this Tristan Tate, Andrew Tate's brother, he said that the only bad thing is that raising your kids in that environment here is that they may be soft. They don't have that thing like if you're living in London, you're living in DC, you're living in America, you got that like that street thing. The street, like
you have tough skin.
You got to have the tough skin. So I think that's the only one of the major challenges is that. And other than that, it's like how would I say it? I think it's
Do you think they can be spoiled?
Spoiled, yeah. So not having tough skin, spoiled, and then transparency, because here a lot of things happen, people do it behind closed doors, or there's a shyness and a shame where that, because this is an Islamic country. So if people want to do haram or follow their desires, they do it in secret. So you have to try to have a strong enough relationship with your children that the things that they do, they're not doing things in secret, you know, because then you have to make them aware that Allah's al-Sami al-Basir, that Allah sees and hears you. So this is another thing that goes back down to belief system, because yeah, no problem. The test may be something where it may be something which they may do in secret, you know. So I think that's the things I would say.
So when you said about it's about cultivating a strong relationship, this was one of the things I was thinking about, where how can we ensure that you are their go-to person when they're older? And I think that you've touched upon it before as well.
That's such a good question, you know, but like I told you from the beginning, my parenting style is a bit different. It's laid back, and it's not too strict or harsh. And I don't know if it's like if it's a phase or what, but I think naturally it just happens. If you know, I don't know how to explain it. Maybe you may know, or if some people out there are watching, they can give us some tips that how could we achieve that? Because I think naturally it happens, but like, what could you actually do to actually get it to be?
The likelihood of it happening a lot more.
Yeah, a lot more.
Yeah.
That
because I've met a few brothers that are a lot older than me, and there's one that comes to mind where they're literally like brothers, like the father and the son. When I hear stories about them, they're just like brothers. Like the son will go to the father for everything.
Yeah,
anything, whatever age they're in. You know, and
it's crazy because I actually call my son bro. Sometimes.
So maybe that will happen over time.
Yeah.
But and I was like, I wish my sons are like that when they're older. They can come to me, because my worry is that if they go to someone else, they may not have the same values, principles. They may be a bad influence on them when they come to a time in their life where they need advice. They might get the wrong type of advice.
Yeah.
And that's the concern. And I want them to be able to come to me whenever they want. And that's one of the things I've been thinking about. And the only thing I can think of right now is spending as much time, and you mentioned this already, as much time as you can when they're younger. Because if you don't spend much time when they're younger and you don't develop a relationship or a bond, they're not going to come when they're 13, 14. They've got their own friends and they've got other things that they want to do. And because we didn't invest when they were younger, they don't want to spend time with us when they're older.
Yeah.
And that's the concern. And for me, it's difficult because I'm trying to achieve so many different things.
Yeah.
So I'm working full-time as a teacher, but then also there's things I want to achieve on the side, businesses and projects I want to work on. But then I know that my kids are at a very fragile young age where this is the time for me to spend time with them as much as I can. So I need to sacrifice something, but what do I sacrifice?
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, that's a very strong point, because now you just said that, it made me think of something. Actually, myself, I would say, because my father was in the military, so he was in the Navy, so he would have to have 6-month deployment. So he was not there. He was not there, but he would always, you know, whether it be, I don't remember the mode of communication back then. I think maybe it was email. I know it wasn't FaceTime. For sure it wasn't FaceTime. I'm sure it was emails or letters or something like that. But just knowing that, like, you know, you get a letter or something like that, some kind of communication, like we knew that he was trying. You know, and me being in Dubai, 14-hour flight away from my father and my mother. Obviously my dad is busy and things like that. And I called him the other day, and I said to him, I said, Dad, my life is crazy. It's like I don't have like everything's like going, and I'm like talking to him, and he just said, what took you so long to call? And I said, SubhanAllah. SubhanAllah. I said, you know, I was thinking to make an excuse, and then, you know, I just said, you know, I'm wrong. I should have called earlier, you know, and it made me think, like, he used to be gone from us, and now I'm gone from him. The same exact thing. And I'm reaching out now, and he was there. He gave me advice. He gave me amazing advice. He actually said, family is number one. Like your family, focus on your family. Continue to be blessed. Continue to do what you're doing, you know, and more blessings and things like that will come. Be grateful for it, but also family is number one. Like the family, yeah. And it made me think, like what you said, like what can we do? Like obviously spend time, things like that. But it goes in full circle,
Mhm.
you know. And obviously, alhamdulillah, he gave me some really good advice, and it made me think like, yeah, I need to reach out more, you know. So yeah.
Yeah. So speaking of advice, then let's say, because I've got a few viewers that watch, and they're either thinking of becoming parents, or
Mhm.
they're about to be parents, or they just had a child. What advice would you give to new parents, people that?
In the beginning, do not be too how is it, too much, you know. Don't be too much. Naturally, usually the firstborn will be more close, like, with the mother. This
Okay.
is natural, you know. And like um my mom always says to me, "You're my first love. You're my everything. Like you like me." And I'm just like, "Really,
You're the
really,
first
really?
son.
Yeah, I'm the first." Like, okay, really, like, you know. And she's dead serious, like, you know.
Mm.
So the first child is going to more than likely be really inclined to. In the beginning, they're gonna have to. In Islam, they got 2 years for breastfeeding. Kalas, how
Mhm.
much could the baby don't understand nothing, can't even talk? You're like, you know, you're like, nah, bro, like, relax, brothers, relax for the first 2 years. Your time will come. Because imagine if you have more kids, that first child got a little sister, a little brother, another little sister.
Mm.
You know what I mean? How much love got to get distributed from the mother down to the cycle? That first child gonna go to who? Kalas, to the dad. You know what I mean? So obviously that's something that I experienced. And like
Mm.
me and Isa are actually really close now. Like
Wicked.
obviously when he was younger, you know, he was,
What are you going to talk about? There's not much that you
there's
can
not
really do.
much, but now he's the oldest. And it's so funny because a lot of the things as a father that you may, like, as the commander of the house. Oh, look at this commander. I'm wearing the Washington thing. As the commander of the house, like, you have to sometimes put things in place. And I may say something, then I look and I see Issa the same way. I'm like, man, this guy, is he copying me, or is he naturally like that? You know, and he
Yeah,
defends
yeah.
me, and he says, like, you know, he's like, well, he's right. Dad is right. We should do this, guys. And it's like, you know, and it naturally happens, guys. So my advice would be, in the beginning, don't be too much. You know,
Mm.
obviously you have an immense amount of love. This is something new, this, that. But use that love to target to support the wife and what she's going to, because she's going to take a very, very heavy load for the new addition to the family. That's what I would say. I wouldn't say don't try to target your love to target your love. You love the child, but like,
Just ignore the guy.
no, not ignore him, but like, you have to make it a balance,
course,
you know?
yeah.
And if it's a really good balance, Kalas, this is the best advice I can give someone. That's the best advice I could give. Seriously. You get what I'm talking
Yeah,
about?
absolutely. So what you were saying, there's a book I read called Raising Boys.
Yeah.
So it's the author's called Steve Biddulph, and he says there's 3 stages of boyhood for a child.
Yeah.
And he says the first stage is literally just what you explained, that you can't really do much as a father. You're just there. The
Yeah.
mother's there for nourishment, for love, consolation, all these soft skills, and you're just the best. What we can do is try to support the mother as much as we can and just be there.
Yeah.
But the second stage, when this child reaches about 5, 6, is when now he starts looking externally as the father, as the role model. This is who I want to become now. This is the father's time to shine, where he's going to be looking at you. Whatever you do, he's going to try to implement that. Whatever behavior characteristics. And the scary thing for that was good and bad, you know? And then the third stage, when the child turns 14, this is when he starts looking externally now. He's looking at the people around him, his friends, anyone else that is outside the family, because you might find sometimes that the same advice you give your child, the same advice someone else can give your child when it's older, they will listen to him.
Yeah.
As opposed to you. And why that's the case, it goes into the psychology behind it as well. So I think for us in the middle.
Yeah, I got a really good idea, bro.
Go on.
We should actually, you know, because now, like, we're not there at the 14th
Of
yet.
course, yeah.
We can plan for this. If we're all here in Dubai,
Mm.
we got some other good parents out there who are going through the same thing as us, and we preserve our kids. We could always in the future link our kids up together, do things together and things like that, create little communities. So because we all have the same goal in mind, Muslim, our kids, they praying now. We can do things for Ramadan. We can all take trips places and things like that. And the kids, they can all do this. I'm just thinking of that, you know, rather than letting it just happen and then they just become friends with some other people. Because I'll be fair, I have seen some kids. Now, not many people know. In the summers for the last 3 years, I have taught at I won't say like name or anything like that, but I do a little bit of teaching assistance where I teach English or social media, house parenting, on and on and on and on and on. So I have interactions with children. Brother, these children are not like us. they're not like us. Like they're more advanced, man. Like seriously, I was like, man, I was not like that when I was these kids' age. So imagine, and I got the idea to put the kids together and things like from the summer camp type of thing. Now, imagine you send your kids to the summer school or the summer camp, and they're around good kids, because I've seen very good examples from the summer camp that I participate in. So that's the reason why. So imagine you send them and they're with good kids and they're learning good habits, versus the opposite, or you leave them to themselves and they meet some random kids online or in a video game or something. And collapsed.
It's hard. It's hard to get them back. Yeah,
so that's the thing.
So when you talked about that, it reminded me. So Elon Musk, when his children were younger, he started his own school, and traditionally what you'll find in schools is that kids are with kids their own age. This is what we're used to, American British curriculum. It's the same thing. Whereas with his school, and there was scientific studies to support that, is that the children are usually with different ages.
Yes.
So the younger children will look up to the older children and copy their behavior and mannerisms, and the older children will look up to the even older children, and it's more like a tribe system.
Yes.
And this is more natural, and it comes, and you'll see that probably at home as well, where the younger boys and girls will look at the older one and see, what is he doing, and we're going to try to implement that. And it means that it's less burden for the parent to try to teach them, because as long as the oldest one is doing what he needs to, then the rest will follow suit as well. So exactly what you said, in these camps you will find that they will not always be the same age, and if you can find children that are older than your own, and you know that they have the same values and principles that we have, we have a certain set of values and principles, and the kids at home, they know exactly what we're looking for. So with Isa, right now he's a bit young, so I'm trying to teach him without teaching him, but what are we looking for in the people around us? What are they? So first and foremost is someone that we've met at the mosque, or someone that prays the salah. When it's salah time, we'll pray. Wherever we are, we'll stop what we're doing, we'll pray.
Of course. And that's a beautiful thing about this country.
Beautiful. There'll be times where I remember we were in London, we were literally praying on the street opposite a pub, and there was like blasting music, and it was just so difficult, but we prayed. Whereas here, that would never be the situation, where within a few minutes walking distance, there'll be a beautiful salah room.
Just downstairs, one floor down, Yeah. So literally, that's very key. I wanted to say a couple of things. I remember one Ustad Rahab Bats, one of used to be my local imam when I was living in America. He said that if you cultivate and you raise the first child properly, the rest of the children will be intact as well. But if you mess up with the first child, and the first child is off, then the rest of the kids will follow suit. Another thing that I wanted to mention was that, and it was another thing, but I can't think of it properly right now. It was that part and something. And maybe it will come back to me. When it comes back, I'll say it.
Yeah.
But that was the main one, yeah.
Okay. I've got some questions that I wanted to ask, and I think, to be fair, naturally having this discussion, we've answered many of these.
Yeah. That's how podcasts go, bro. That's how it goes. Like one thing, Ustad Ismail Bullock, he just said to me, me and him did a podcast. What was it? This week, actually. Yeah, it was this earlier, I think Wednesday. We did one, and he was saying that he always says when he's gonna do something, like, don't over prepare. Yeah. He said it's better to be prepared.
Yeah.
Right, it's better to be prepared than underprepared. But he was saying that he always tells the people, just come and let it naturally happen. And that's
the perfect, because for me, I'm always that person, and you can probably tell I'm always over preparing for things. And even when I'm teaching my lessons, I have this structure in my head. This is how my lesson's going to go.
Yeah.
And if it goes a little bit off track, I start flipping out like, oh no.
No, I'm complete opposite. I'm a complete improviser. I don't prepare. I won't prepare. I don't prepare. Sometimes a little teeny bit, but
a little bit. Yeah. So my rule of thumb, and hopefully I'm gonna have to change that. If I'm spending an hour with you, I need to make sure I'm spending 2 hours preparing. Yeah. Looking at your Instagram, YouTube.
You didn't even touch any of it.
No, I didn't. That's the thing. Allahu Akbar. So I've asked most of these questions, to be honest. I just wanted to ask something about your own childhood. What was your fondest memory as a child, and why do you think that stands out for you?
One of the most...
The fondest, the one where you look back and think, wow, that was a good time. And you continue to remember for whatever reason.
Honestly, the most fun time that I can remember as a kid, and this may be like irrelevant, but on Sundays there used to be an ice cream truck that came to the neighborhood.
Mhm.
I lived in military housing.
Wow. Okay.
So this ice cream truck would come on Sundays, right after the football game started.
Mhm.
Between 1, 2, it would come, and it was called Mr. Softy, and it served soft ice cream. When I tell you the
From the
fresh
machine.
from the machine, from the pull me down,
Mm.
the pull me down machine.
Yeah.
When I tell you the softest, freshest milk ice cream, pleasant thing that you're gonna put in your palate. That thing was amazing. And me, I love peaches.
Mm.
I love peaches. Yes.
Mm.
This ice cream, just imagine the soft ice cream, them pouring over peaches and handing you a spoon,
Mm.
and you taking that first spoon and just putting it inside of your mouth. The
You're
tantalizing,
reliving that moment now.
yes, the tantalizing feeling that I got on a Sunday,
Oh, that's the
and
best.
eating that ice cream.
Who are
And
you
then-
with?
Who was it with? Always the neighborhood crew.
Yeah.
Big shout out to the crew back in the day. I don't want to say everyone's name, but like we in the military housing, in the military housing in Wadsworth used to have 2 children to live there.
Okay.
So every single house had 2 children, and all of us were quite similar ages, or we were all quite similar ages. We used to always play football in the back of the house, tackle football on Sundays and things like that. Have our ice cream, play manhunt, hide and go seek, and things like that. So it was
You
alhamdulillah.
spent most of your time out.
Outside, man. I was never in the house. But actually, I started to get in the house like around 2001, 2000, when the internet came. AOL, dial me up,
Yeah.
I used to unplug the phone, plug into the computer, and be on site. ASL, age, sex, and location. I'm 11-year-old talking about 13 male from California and all that. Nah, man. So, yeah, man, those was the days,
Were you into video games when you were young?
Slightly. I used to have what was that thing called? I think I had Xbox.
Okay.
We had PlayStation. I used to, take the CD and then, wipe it. Even I remember I used to have a Nintendo 64.
That's it, and pray.
Yeah, and pray that it works. Yeah. Oh, I hope it works. And then you see that thing load and boom, and go through. Yeah, man. Yeah, I used to have that.
Do you feel like you were addicted or you played too much?
Nah, bro. I actually cut that thing off when I was like 14.
Wow.
Yeah, I just stopped playing. And then actually I remember I pawned my Xbox, bro. I had it for like 3-4 months. I took it to the pawn shop and like gave it away for half the value. I was a kid, man. We got rid of that thing. We got rid of the Xbox.
Did you have to get rid of it or you chose to get rid of it?
No, I think I pawned it. I wanted money.
I wanted money for other things.
I wanted money for other things. We were wild kids, man. I'll show it about 15, probably 15, 16. I think we pawned the Xbox, bro.
I was addicted to gaming.
Really?
Even in the first few years of marriage, playing all the time. I think too much. Thinking back at it now, playing a lot.
But what was it that made you continue to play? What were you getting from it?
I think it was just the community. So we've got all our friends were playing together, and we met other friends as well online that had similar values. We'd all come on at the same time, play video games.
Do you know Samir? You know that Samir guy who makes he's a wild guy.
Okay.
He does the voice changer, and he plays the game. This guy's hilarious. When I
Okay.
tell you he's hilarious, so yeah, he's hilarious, man.
Yeah.
You look him up after.
Yeah, no,
Samir.
I'm definitely-
He's funny, bro.
Yeah.
He's funny. When you said a game, I instantly thought
You
of this
thought
guy.
of this
Yeah,
guy.
yeah.
But I played too much, and this is probably one of them. And luckily, I think having kids tore me away from that, and it was an addiction.
Yeah.
I think when we say the word addiction, we have people that are addicted to drugs and other things in mind. But today, I genuinely feel that there are people addicted to gaming and social media. There'll be times where I may be scrolling on my phone, and I know in my mind I'm talking to myself and saying, "Why are you doing this? Can you stop?" But I'll still scroll a few more times.
Yeah.
And I'm like, "What? I'm just wasting my time right now. I need to move forward." And that is, for me, that is what addiction looks like. Where when you have free time, the first thing you do is you go on your phone.
Yeah.
And it was.
I'm like wanting to touch mine now.
Yeah, it is. And I think as parents today, we need to understand that there can be different types of addictions to then what we're used to and what can we do to make sure that they stop. And there's different things, but I think gaming was very, very tough for me. And alhamdulillah, I've stopped now. But I'll be honest, like an addict, a day won't go by where I don't think of playing games.
You don't have a console, do you?
No, nothing.
You're good. We don't have a console in our house. It's funny because we sometimes we slightly like hint at it, but I don't think we need it. To be fair, we don't need it.
Yeah.
But
and that is literally when I speak to in Leicester, there was a lot of people that were addicted to drugs, and I speak to some people now, and even though they've stopped,
drugs.
they'll still
They
think about it.
they on the game.
Yeah, they're still thinking. They'll think, oh, I thought about it today. And the same with gaming. It's just I'm thinking about, oh, I wish I can play.
Yeah.
Or maybe when the kids are older, or if I'm making this much money on my side hustle, then I can just relax. And when the kids go to sleep, I can just play video games. And that is literally the
Yeah, man.
And this is something that I'm worried about. So with the kids, we do have a Nintendo Switch that we play with, but we'll always make sure we're trying to play as a family. So we'll play maybe half an hour, 45 minutes together, and then we'll move forward and we'll just do something else, wherever it might be.
Yeah, sometimes it can be used as a healthy mechanism to build a bond, like that. So I think, and recently, like my kids, they found out that I used to skateboard. Yeah. And they love it. Like they have their skateboards and stuff like that. It's just everybody, if anyone lives in Dubai, they know how it is as work life or running a business here in Dubai. Absolute time consuming. So yeah, try to take the time. I think I want to try to take them.
Yeah.
I would love to take them to the skate park, but I don't need to get on a skateboard at 34 years old, bro. I probably could do it, but I don't need to. Wow, it's bright in here.
Yeah, because you've had shades on for so
the
long.
whole time I've had the shades on.
Just wanted to ask then, so in your week, do you have a set time in mind where this is family time? Or
I spoke about this on the podcast this earlier this week with the brother Ismail Bullock for Sharjah TV. It's usually in the mornings.
Okay.
Like this morning before I was another reason why I was a little bit of a reason. I was like usually in the mornings, and in the evenings if during the week.
Okay.
On the weekends, pretty much the whole weekend. We use the weekends to like go out and do things. Usually let them do some kind of very fun activity or something like that. But yeah, that's just how it is. Yeah. But that's it differs. There are some times when you spend the whole week with them, like the whole time. And there's other times there's busy times. There's other things, so it's just mostly like really adapting to the actual environment or the situation and making the best out of the situation,
Yeah. And I guess it just depends on your schedule, because if you're working, you're a bit more independent, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
And your kids are homeschooled as well. So there'll be times where they'll be free during the mornings, etc. I think for me, it's more during the week, Monday to Thursdays, it's a bit more structured where go to school early morning, they come back, we'll spend a little bit of time. But with Isa, what I try to do is spend quality time. So I'm teaching him how to read the Quran with him. And that's just our thing. So we'll have 20, 25 minutes every day and we'll sit down and I'm teaching him to read the Quran.
Do you see, just for the viewers and for the people who may not do this, do you see a huge benefit in that specific thing? Does that specific activity, because obviously it's like a bonding for you personally,
yeah.
but do you see like where there's a reward or a blessing in that specific thing?
Course.
Yes.
So if I'm teaching him Quran,
yes,
he's going to be reading this for the rest of his life.
And you get the reward.
And I get the reward.
Yeah.
So why am I outsourcing that to someone else? And then that person will get the reward. As long as I know that what I'm teaching him to a certain level, his tajweed will be a certain level where it's correct.
Yeah.
So when we were younger, we were maybe taught to read the Quran, but not in the proper pronunciation.
Yeah.
Whereas when we went, and Les is amazing with this, by the way, the schools and the structure there are just amazing. And we were taught how to read the Quran properly. And I want to teach that on to my son. So there's reward there, but that reward, I think I'm working hard for it because I need a lot of patience.
True.
So I've realized that with Isa, trying to teach him Quran is very frustrating for me because I've been doing it all my life and I know how to read. But when he doesn't read correctly, I find myself getting very frustrated very quickly. And I think this was a good experience for me because it's taught me to be so much more patient than anything in my life has ever taught me.
Yeah.
And sometimes after the session, I'm sitting there thinking, why am I getting angry at him for not reciting properly?
When he getting double the rewards for a struggle.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. He getting double the reward for the struggle.
Yeah.
Like for me as a revert, non-native speaker and things like that. When I read the Quran and with the difficulty because of the dyslexia and learning disability, and get double the reward. Absolutely. But you gave me a really good idea because like I want to learn Arabic. So I could actually learn Arabic with my kid. There's not like, like sometimes people say, oh, but you're 30 and your kid is like 8. Why you want to learn Quran with them? No shame. No shame.
100%. This is where we're leaving money on the table because I can read Quran properly, but I don't know what I'm saying. So I'm doing half the job. Whereas with Isa, what I want him to do is when he's reading the Quran, whilst he's learning to read and pronounce, he needs to at school or even getting paid Arabic lessons. You need to be doing both at the same time because they go hand in hand with each other.
Yeah.
But one point where I wanted to mention, and you mentioned this earlier as well, is that we want kids and we want things instantly, instant gratification.
Yes.
So there's something called delayed gratification. Have you heard this before?
Yes.
So delayed gratification, what I'm trying to do with Isa is we're reading a book, and this book will teach him how to read Quran by the end of the book. So we're nearly there now. We've got about 7-8 pages left.
Mm-hmm.
We started about 4 months ago. So I said to him when we first started is you're not getting any rewards for learning. Once you finish the book, then you'll get one reward, whatever it is you want. And it'll be a big reward because so now every day for the last 4 months, even though after school he's tired because he wakes up nearly at 5:30 every morning, comes home about 4, and then we'll do our sabak and we'll learn at that time. It's tiring for him. But now I'm working towards that goal. We've done like a little chart so he knows where he's getting there.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm trying to teach him with delayed gratification is that things that are worth having don't come easy.
Yes, that's very good. That's very good.
And whether you feel like learning today or not, discipline is that we're going to do it anyway. And I want him to apply that in every aspect of his life as well. And if you do that, the reward you'll get will be proportionate to the amount of work that you've done.
Yes.
And therefore, I know that it might be a bit expensive to give him whatever reward he wants at that time. But I know it'd be worth it because then the next one is going to be when he finishes reading the full Quran with me, then the reward will also be there.
Barakallah feek, bro. That's absolutely beautiful. Seriously, that's absolutely beautiful. And Isa, you're gonna get that reward soon.
I'm just hoping it's not something big because at one point he wanted like this water bottle, and it's like a flavored top, and when he drinks it, the water tastes like something, and it's only like 100 dirhams. I'm like, yeah, let's go for it.
Nah, he'll change his mind. That was in the beginning. He'll change his mind.
Now he's like, I want to go to a hotel and have a staycation. So I'm trying to like guide him.
Pick at the palm. Pick at the palm. No, we were just there. I think. Funny enough, actually, that's when our mutual friend Gaff, I got in contact with. I sent him a picture, which I don't think he will ever show, but I sent him a picture of me at the Sofitel, and I was like, bro, I need to start working out. Which I go to the gym sometimes, but I think for me, my journey with the gym is more like slow, like a long thing. Like I go all the time now, and I'm eating a little bit better, and I think about stuff. And even the kids, they're saying, "But Daddy on a diet," so I'm like, "Yo, chill." I'm like, "Yo, y'all keep me an account, you know? Daddy's on a diet."
But that's one of the things why I started working out in the first place, because I realized that Isa, both our Isas, you can say certain things to them, but they're not going to listen to what they say. They're going to see what you do.
Mm-hmm.
And this is something I've talked about with my wife as well, is that we're telling them, eat healthy, giving them healthy food all the time. But we ourselves are eating junk food. We're telling them to, you're going to go sports today and play football because it's important to be healthy. But we're never working out.
Yeah.
And therefore, there's this cognitive dissonance where you're saying one thing,
you're doing the opposite.
But you're doing the opposite. And this is what motivates me to make sure that I work out. Because when I'm walking out, I'll make sure these that are watching me go, where are they going, Dad? I'm going to play football today, or I'm going to gym. Because they know in the paradigm that we live in, it's normal for them to go and work out every single day. And even if it's 30 minutes, 40 minutes, I want for them to be normal. I want for them to be, it's normal for Dad to be reading every time he's got a spare moment. He's got his Kindle out and he's reading something, or he's spending time when we're eating together as a family, eating and talking together. I want these things to be normal to them, because then when they grow up, the likelihood is for them, they'll do the same thing.
Yes, definitely.
And that's why it's so important.
Yeah, this is good. This is really good stuff, guys. Those of you guys out there who are looking to have children or are already currently in the process, and you know, because sometimes when the missus is pregnant, you can get overwhelmed and stressed out. But don't get stressed out. Use those feelings to get yourself prepared and things like that. And just always remember, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives you so many blessings. Having the children is a huge blessing. Yeah, it's a huge blessing. Yeah.
2 more questions.
Let's get it.
And then we're done. First is, what do you think is the hardest thing about parenting?
The hardest thing?
Hardest thing for you?
The hardest thing about parenting is like, you know, the hardest thing is honestly, it's thinking that you're not doing good enough, you know, and thinking that, like, you know, you may be failing, or it's like the hardest thing is like the waswas and like and things like that. And
so I'll give you some consolation with that.
Yeah.
If you're thinking that, then that means you are. What I mean by that is, if you're a parent, you're thinking, you're conscious enough that you're always worrying whether you're not doing good enough, then that
not all the time, but like sometimes it comes.
Yeah, not all the time. Sometimes I'm thinking, hey, I'm doing a very good job today, but if you're throughout your life you're thinking, am I doing a good enough job? Then that is at least some sort of a sign that actually you are concerned.
Yeah.
And I think that is very healthy
Yeah.
as well. And
I think that's the biggest thing is when you think it, you're like, oh, am I doing good enough? Like, but
You're
no,
thinking
it's
eventually
okay,
do,
it's
yeah.
okay, it's good, it's good. You know, you don't want to think that, like, you know, you're in a delusion. That's the last thing you want, is being in a delusion. Yeah.
So I want a closing tradition on this podcast. So this is my first podcast, so I'm hopefully it catches on. But I want to ask a question where if you can send a message to your kids, anything could be, and it could be to all of them. What message would you give to them? If they, and this is specifically, they're going to be parents one day themselves. So what kind of message would you give to them?
The message I would give to my kids and any other kids out there is that, you know, you are good enough. Have confidence. I said this before. Hold on to the rope of Allah and your religion. Don't get peer pressured by the society or what everyone else is doing. Remain firm. Always remember that, you know, Allah is always there for you. You know, that's like my main message, is just remember Allah, and Allah will remember you. You know, that, and being confident and things like that. So that's the main thing, you know?
Yeah. Beautiful words. I just want to say thank you so much for coming on today's show. I really appreciate your time, your words of wisdom, and you've made me think a lot about things that I've not even thought about before in terms of parenting and different angles and aspects from your culture and homeschooling as well. It's good to meet a brother that's actually doing it properly. This is the first time I've had that discussion. So I really appreciate your time and effort. Thank you very much.
Appreciate you, bro. Barakallah speak, man.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
Right, guys, thank you very much for listening. Okay, so what I want to do before we finish, I completely forgot about this one. Give you some cookies from a very, very close friend of mine. They're called Oowy cookies. Have a look at them.
Goowy. Oh my goodness. MashaAllah. Bro, seriously. Wallah. I
it's
love
for you and the family.
Cookies.
Yeah? Not just
me. So no, I'm joking. The family will see it. But look, bro, wallah, I love cookies, bro. I love it. It's like my favorite thing. As an American, we love the cookies too much, bro. Oh, they got Instagram, Oowy cookies, oowyGoowy.com. Yeah. Okay. You know what? I'm going to do a review right now, guys.
Go on.
Let me go ahead. I can get this open. Wow. I think I've seen this before. Online, maybe.
It's quite new.
Are they online?
Yeah,
I'm sure, bro.
Online,
I'm sure I may have seen it.
Yeah. So these are some new flavors that they're trying as well.
Okay.
So you're a bit of an experiment. But
do I actually try this now?
Yeah,
I'm going to try it now.
And these chocolate tops
goodness,
as well, they make that at home themselves. So they literally mold the chocolates themselves.
Oh, wow. Look at this, guys. This is dope, yo. This is actually dope. All right, bismillah. I'm going to try it on here.
It's going in.
Oh, my.
What flavor is that? I think. Okay, you need to try that one as well. So that is my favorite.
One in the bottom.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yo, this is the real deal.
I believe that's pistachio, and the other one's called
That's
nutty.
on steroids.
Yeah, you're not allergic to anything, yeah?
Me?
Yeah.
If I faint, kalas, I faint on camera. Bismillah, worth it. It's worth it if I faint, bro.
The kids will love this one. They'll love this one. And what you're meant to do
Oh
is
my God.
put it in the oven for about 30 seconds, microwave or something like that, and it'll be soft inside.
Oh my
And they'll
goodness.
absolutely
Guys, this thing is ooey gooey good. I tell you, it's ooey gooey good. Yo, that's fire, bro.
Yeah. Nah, I hope you
Yo,
and
hit
your
them
family
up,
enjoy
bro.
it.
If you in Dubai, hit them up. They on delivery apps, Deliveroo,
Yeah,
Noon.
they deliver themselves. Yeah, they're on Noon or anything. They're very new. But if you place an order online,
Bruh,
they will come and deliver.
Put
it to
this
you.
on Noon, Talibat, Kareem,
Yeah.
and Deliveroo ASAP. This, as I said, and thank you guys. But yo, ooey gooey, get yours now. I'm not joking. This is fire, yo. I love cookies. I mean, I remember when I was a kid. In high school, I used to always go get 3 cookies for $1 after school. Before I get on the bus, I'm going every day getting the soft cookies, eating them. I love cookies. It's one of my favorite things besides the ice cream that I talked about earlier. But cookies,
This is only for cheat
number
days.
one.
If Gaff's listening, only for cheat days, and then during the week we
Only
just
for
do
cheat
the-
days. Oh, gaff. Oh, astaghfirullah. Okay. All right, guys.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.